What's going on, guys? Justin Fuller, ex-Honda salesman, tech lover, today, your host, and we are going to be going over some tips and tricks on the 2025 Honda Pilot. So you don't own this thing for a year or two, only to go, damn, I didn't even know it could do that. So let's hop on in. So the Honda Pilot has what's called Smart Key Entry. And what that means is if I have the key in my pocket and I walk up and I touch my hand to the door handle, it'll unlock the driver's side door. But what it doesn't do is unlock my back seat or my passenger side. Now, that's not a big deal if you're a single person, but if you've got a wife, you've got kids, and it's inclement weather, how nice would it be if you could touch your door handle and it would unlock all the doors? Let me show you how to set that up. So to set this feature up, we are gonna go into vehicle settings. Once you get into vehicle settings, you wanna go to keyless access setup. Under keyless access setup, it's gonna be this very first option, door unlock mode. Now the default mode is to be driver's door only. If you select all doors, now when you touch your door handle, it'll unlock all the doors of the vehicle. Now the Honda Pilot has a pretty cool feature related to the windows and your key fob. If you press the unlock button and then press it again and you hold it down, it'll actually roll down the windows to your vehicle and a moonroof if you got one. However, if it's raining and you're laying on your couch, could you potentially set this off? Absolutely. If you want to turn this feature off, let me show you how. We are going to go into vehicle settings. When you get to vehicle settings, you want to go to door and window setup. Under door and window setup, if you scroll to the very bottom, remote window control. From here, you can then turn this feature off to where you can't roll the windows down with the key fob. So have you ever been in the back of someone's car and they stop the car and we're all trying to get out and you go to grab the door handle and you're like, let me out, I can't get out. Well, Hondas are set up to where until the driver's side opens their door, all the remaining doors will stay locked. However, you can change that setting. Let me show you how. To change this feature, we're going to go into vehicle settings. Under vehicle settings, we want to go into door and window. Under door and window, it is going to be this second one, auto door unlock. So currently, when the driver opens their door, it then unlocks the remaining doors of the car. If you want to change that, you've got some other options here. When you shift to park, it can unlock all the doors when you turn off the ignition, or you can completely turn this function off. Now, if you're anything like me, you get all your belongings, you get out of the car, you start walking in, maybe you're going into the grocery store, maybe you're going into your house, you get all the way into the store and you go, oh my God, I have no idea if I lock my doors, and I've got my laptop or my cameras or whatever in the car, and then you've got to turn around and you've got to walk all the way back and you're hitting the alarm on the way, hoping that you can get it to make some sort of sound or flashlights to where you know it's locked. Well, what if I told you there's a feature you can turn on where when you get 10 feet from the car, if you have the key with you, it'll automatically lock the doors. Check this out. So to turn this feature on, we are going to go into your vehicle settings. Under vehicle and settings, we want to go to door and window. Under door and window, you're going to see a feature called walk away auto lock. The default is for this feature to be turned off. If you turn it on, now when you get 10 feet from the car, if you have the keys with you, it'll automatically lock the doors to the car. So the Honda Pilot comes with a remote start. If you don't know much about remote start, to use this feature, you got to press the lock, press, and burst, and then there's a round little button you got to press there. You're going to press that button, you're going to hold it for a second or two. After you've done that, a couple things are going to happen. One, the lights will flash, and then the car will start up, and it'll run for, I want to say, 10 minutes. If you want to extend that, you can then press that same sequence again and extend it for another 10 minutes. Now, if you don't know much about that, it makes some people uncomfortable because they're like, what if somebody runs up and gets in my car? Well, the doors have to be locked for that to work, right? So, one, the doors will be locked, but two, even if they got into the car, they would then have to have the key fob in the car, put their foot on the brake, and press the start button for it to fully turn the vehicle on. Now, if all of that still makes you nervous, you can turn the remote start function completely off. Let me show you how. To turn the remote start function off, we're going to go into vehicle settings. When we get into vehicle settings, we want to go to keyless access setup. Under keyless access setup, remote start system on off, you can then turn that function completely off. Now, there are those times when you may want to leave your car somewhere and you want to be able to physically lock your keys inside of the vehicle. Well, the way Hondas are designed, there's a lockout prevention. So what that means is if I leave the key inside the car, right, and I tried to lock it and walk away, it won't lock. It just unlocked. So now you can see the doors are unlocked again. Well, you can turn this feature off. Maybe you have a tow truck coming by. Maybe you have a friend coming to pick the car up and you want to lock the car, but you want the keys to stay locked in it. Let me show you how. To set up this feature, we are going to go into vehicle settings. Under vehicle settings, keyless access setup. When we get in there, lockout prevention is going to be down at the very bottom. If you select this, you can then scroll down and you can turn this feature completely off. Okay, so I regularly get asked, can you lock the car while it's running and take the key and walk away? And for the most part, the answer has always been no. but I figured out a way to do it. So let me show you how to do this. I have to leave the key in the car, but I'm gonna set it on the seat right here because I'm gonna be able to need to grab it, right? There's kind of a lot to this. I then come here. What I'm gonna do is I am gonna lock the doors. I'm gonna grab the key. I'm gonna roll the window up. When I roll the window up, the car is now locked and it is running. Show you that it is. And that's with the key. So the smart key entry part isn't gonna work anymore. So how do you get back in? On the key, if you press this little button right here, there's a key piece that'll slide out. So that is this piece. If you didn't know that, you got your spare key. How to get back in the car? What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna go over here at the door handle. When you lift up, there's a place underneath that you can put your key in. So once I have my key there, I'm gonna wanna turn the key one time. After I do that, release it, step back. I can then grab the door handle and it'll unlock the door for me. It's a lot, I know, but if you really wanna be able to leave your car running while it's locked and take the key and walk away, there is a way. If this is something that you wanna do, I'm gonna make a recommendation because I went into panic mode the first time I tried this. Do me a favor, roll this window down back here so that when you're learning how to do this process, if you mess something up, that window's rolled down to where you can still get in the car to lock it or unlock it. I don't want to get a phone call where your car is running, it's locked, the key is in it or the key's out of it and you can't get back in. So do yourself a favor. If you want to try this out, leave yourself a safety net. So this next tip or trick is going to be related to your centerpiece right here, right? So I'm in an EXL model, so this is what I'm going to show you on. This piece is removable, right? So there's a little tab down here that you can pull. It actually allows you to unlock it, and then you can actually pick this sucker up and you can pull it out, right? That in itself, pretty cool. But did you know it has a secret storage place? Let me show you that. So here I am in the very back of the vehicle, right? And this is where you've got this storage, right? Which normally you might say, hey, cool, I've got some dividers. I can throw some stuff in my spare lives below here. But you know what'll fit right here? You may not have knew this. This guy is designed to fit right down in there. And you can still put this back on to where you never saw it. So while we're at the back of this vehicle, I want to show you like 4 or 5 really cool tricks. The first one is related to your tailgate. If you have the one with a powered tailgate, do know this. You can move it to whatever height you want it to stay at. If you press and hold this button, you'll hear a double beep inside. Once you get that double beep, it's now set to this height, so it'll open to this height. That way it doesn't open all the way from your garage and maybe hit belongings. So kind of cool to know that you can set this. Secondarily, if you come in here, this piece that I showed you just a couple minutes ago, did you know it's reversible? There's actually another piece you can flip and turn around that has a hard plastic side. So if you wanted to throw something that was wet back here and you didn't want to get the carpet wet, know that you have this. But take it another step further. Over here, there's this plastic panel and it's got these 2 little locks you can do. If you take this off, did you know that this is where like your jack and all your accessories live? So if you ever needed to change your tire, the spare is below where we showed you earlier, and this is where the jack is to use. In here, I'm gonna fold up here and show you one other cool thing. See this little guy? Let's talk about this little guy. If you come around here, one, these are connected to the door locks. If you unlock the doors, this pops open. But what the purpose of this is, if you ever ran out of gas, you may not have a gas can, and you would need a way to hold this valve open to pour gas into it. That is the purpose of this guy, to where it'll hold it open, and that way you can use whatever you had to be able to pour gas into your gas can to where you could get down the road to the next service station. So there are those occasions when sometimes you're somewhere maybe foreign to you, right? And you need to get something out of the back, but you don't want the tailgate to actually open all the way up. Did you know that if you come here and you press and hold the button, it'll actually just pop it open, and then you can manually open it up, so that way it doesn't open into anything. Also, while we're here, sometimes you're gonna be getting all your belongings out of the car, right? And you're gonna say, cool, but my keys are in my pocket now, my hands are kind of full, and I can't reach into my pockets and go to get my keys to lock the doors. Did you know on the back, there's actually a little button right here. The purpose of this button is once this closes, you can press that button and it'll lock the doors for you. So this next feature is gonna be if you're backing up. Maybe you have a trailer, maybe you don't, maybe just back into your driveway at your house or your apartment or wherever it is. Did you know that on here, right? So I got my mirrors that I'm looking out of. If I want one to tilt down, my left or my right, if I select which mirror I want, so let's say I pick left, whenever I throw the car in reverse, it'll automatically tilt that mirror down for me. If I switch it over to the right, it'll tilt down the right mirror. If I don't want it to tilt either mirror, if I just switch this to the middle, neither one will tilt. So there are those occasions when you're driving around and maybe your favorite sports team is playing, right? Maybe you're a football guy, maybe you're an NBA guy, maybe you're an MLB guy, and it would be really nice to know, one, if they're playing, and two, notifications on what's going on. Now you could check your phone, But it'd be nice if you're driving down the road to be able to get an alert on your screen. Let me show you how to set that up. So if you're in a vehicle that offers XM satellite radio, we're gonna jump into that. Now from here, you're gonna wanna go to settings. When you get into the settings, there's a sports notification setup. Now the first thing you wanna do is select your team. So you go here and find your favorite team. So for the sake of this, add a team. Let's say it was somebody from the NFL, and we'll go Cardinals just because they're at the top, right? Now, once I've added that team, then I want to back out. Then I can go to notifications. I can turn on those sports notifications and I can select the team to pick it for. So this way, when they score, when big things happen, I'll get those notifications on the screen. Okay, so these next couple tips or tricks are going to be related to Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So I've got my phone connected up. I'm using a Google Pixel, so this will be displaying Android Auto, but these work the exact same way. The first one I want to show you is related to the display. Currently, I have my mapping system here, and then you can see my audio and things over there, right? You can flip-flop that. If you come in here and go down to your settings, and then scroll to the very bottom, there's change layout. You can then flip this to, hey, I want my media closer, to where now when you're looking at this, your media will be a little bit closer and your mapping system will be over to the side. You can see that I have all these like custom actions set up. And what that means is if I touch this, it'll direct me automatically to the nearest Wendy's.
Wendy's is 4 minutes from your location by car.
This is cool if you like go somewhere often, or maybe you travel for work and you're like, hey, I need to find the nearest gas station or whatever the item may be. This is a good way to do it, right? So kind of a cool function. That's the first one, right? These custom actions that you can set up. So I've got gas station, Whataburger, Jack in the Box, just a bunch of examples. The next one is if you call someone often, it's kind of nice to not have to use the voice command to find them or search through your contacts, but you should be able to touch this and then it'll automatically dial them and call them, which it's calling me, right? Which, by the way, if you ever want to get in contact with me, know that in the description of the video, I leave my cell phone so you can shoot me a call, a text, an email, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do. But how to set these up, let's talk about that. So when you launch this, which once again, if you need to launch it, go down to the very bottom and you can hit customize. When you do, this screen is going to pull up. Now, with this screen up, a couple things you can do. Add a shortcut to the launcher. That's going to give you the actions that I just talked about. If you select that, let's say it was call a contact, you select that, you go find your contact, you select them, add it. Super easy. The second one is if you wanted to do like a custom action. This is where things get kind of cool. So I select this and I go to an assistant action, right? From here, I need to put in the command. And then I'm going to label that command, right? Once you've labeled it, right, I can test the command, or if I know that it's going to work, create the shortcut. When you create the shortcut or you create that contact to call a person, it's going to drop them down at the very bottom. So you're going to have to go grab them and you're going to have to take it all the way up to the very top, which is kind of a pain in the ass. It would make more sense for them to drop it at the very top to begin with, and then you could pick where you want. While you're on this screen though, I want to point out something. This is where you can rearrange all of the apps that you see. So I'm going to move Taco Bell to 1. Maybe I want to move myself to call me to 2. Maybe I want mapping systems, right? I'm going to use Google Maps for 3. Now, if I want these to take place, I've got to either restart the car or I'm going to have to unplug, right? Disconnect from Android Auto or Apple CarPlay and then reconnect up. Once I do that, it'll then put those all back in order. Now, occasionally you may get a text from someone and maybe it's a little bit spicy, maybe it's not, or maybe you just don't want people knowing your business. You don't want it to display on the screen while others are in the vehicle. Know that you can actually change that for this. If you come in here, you can go to your settings tab. When you do, go to the very bottom and select see more settings on phone. It'll launch this screen. If you scroll down on this screen to messaging, there's all these different options here. So show message notifications, you can turn it completely off. Show group conversations, show the first line of the message. Maybe you want that on, maybe you don't. Play message chime. So know that there are some additional settings you can change on your messages, along with a few other things related to like, hey, Google detection, tasks bar, and a few other options. So arguably one of the biggest drawbacks to Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is that it doesn't allow you to activate and take advantage of all of the apps that you may have in your arsenal, right? Things like YouTube TV, things like Netflix, all these different apps. So you may be noticing that I've got a little bit different display here, and then when I go into my apps, I've got some things that you don't have available, like the Play Store, where I can go download anything I want. YouTube TV, I had Prime, I've got Netflix, all these different things. And you may be saying, hey, how are you doing this? What's allowing you to be able to jump in here and to be able to pull up a show and to be able to watch it, right? Let me explain how this works. So what I'm using is this box right here. This is the CPC 200T box. I'll show you what that looks like. This is the box right here. So this way you can see the back of the box, and that's the model number. Now, I'm an affiliate for these guys. Now, how this box works, let me explain it, right? So this box basically turns your head unit into a tablet. But to make it work, you've got to do a couple things. One, you got to go into the settings, you got to go to Wi-Fi and allow this to connect to data. So what I do is I allow it to connect to the hotspot on my phone. So you come in your phone, you turn your hotspot on, you go find it, and then you connect. From there, it then allows you to use this unit, right? So this is where I can come in and say, hey, I want to go into the Play Store and I want to go download any app that I want. The other cool thing I like about this is that if I jump into things like Spotify, I don't have to use voice commands to search for things, right? I have the full versions of the app. So I can come in here, I can type in a search, right? I don't have to use a voice command. I can go into that specific artist. And then when I get in there, I have got the full version of the app. So I've got all their popular songs. I've got their popular releases. I've got their discography, right? It gives you the full versions of the apps, not kind of the cut down and narrowed versions that you get when you're using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So for these two functions alone, I really like this box. If it's something you're interested in, I'll throw a link down in the description. Like I said, am one of their affiliates, so I can save you money on this box. So if it's something you're interested in, check it out. It's a really cool box. This box becomes really worth it if you're taking like a long drive, or if you just listen to a lot of music while you're driving around and you want to be able to get through this a little bit easier. So these next two features I'm going to show you, you have to have your seatbelt on for them to work. So let's say I get into my car, right? Car is off, right? I just turned it off. I crank up the car. Now, when I do that, my parking brake is on. Now, if you've ever been like me, sometimes you get in the car, the parking brake's on, you go in, you throw it in drive, and then you're trying to go forward, and you're like, why am I not moving? And then you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. The parking brake's on. Well, if you get in the car and put your seatbelt on, you can throw this thing into drive, and when you touch the gas, it'll automatically release your parking brake for you. Now, the next feature I want to talk to you about is brake hold. So if you're not familiar with brake hold, if you press this button, you're gonna see brake hold appear up here, right? And so I'd be driving down the road, right? And I'd come to a complete stop. You're gonna see hold appear here. It's now holding the brake while then the car is in drive and I'm not moving. And then when I move forward, right? Maybe I'm in a drive-through line, maybe I'm in stop and go traffic. I come to a complete stop again, and then you're gonna see that hold button come on and it's gonna hold the brake while the car's in drive again. Now, if you're in that drive-through line and you can't reach the bank teller or you can't reach your food, naturally, what are you gonna do? You're gonna take your seatbelt off, which disengages this feature. However, if you take it off, something really cool is gonna happen. It'll automatically engage the parking brake while the car's in drive so you don't accidentally roll into a car in front of you. All right, guys, so I have a couple favors to ask of you at the end of this video. One, can you press the like button? That way, this video will get pushed a little bit higher up in that algorithm and others will find it. Two, leave a comment. If there's a cool tip or trick that you found that I haven't listed, I hope you'll tell me about it. Or if you have a question on how to do something, let me know. I'd be more than happy to research it. Three, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel so when I make cool videos like this, you'll get them. And then lastly, I hope you'll share this video, man. If you got some friends who are searching or maybe thinking about buying a Pilot or they own one, they might want to know some cool stuff that it can do. So I hope you'll share this with them. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Later, guys!